it doesn't actually matter.
No.
It doesn't really matter. Like people can cure cancer and people can make movies, and the world is big enough to hold those things together.
Yeah.
All press is good press.
Let's talk about episode 6. The studio, episode 6, the pediatric oncologist. How much did this episode make you hurt?
It hurt, but it also like deeply resonated with me.
Yeah.
Because basically Seth Rogen's character, Matt Remick, is dating this girl who's a doctor, and they like go to some banquet, right, with all of her doctor friends. And they're just talking about, what Matt does. He makes movies and he's with a bunch of her doctor friends who are saving lives. And essentially the entire movie is a prolonged, like, what is the use of movies? Like it's just entertainment, right? And the entire thing is just a prolonged debate between people who have more obviously valuable, socially valuable jobs versus someone who's a studio head exec whose the value of their job is a little bit more obscure, but is still there. And the reason I say that this one really resonated with me is because I've been that guy. And the reason that you and I have this podcast is because both of us are that guy.
We are that guy.
Where it's like, wait, you didn't think about that movie at all? You don't understand that storytelling is the thing that is like, is the human thing that like gives zhuzh and vigor to your life. And if it weren't for storytelling, you would be nothing more than an automaton.
You mean that we have a whole series called Sacred Texts, and what we're saying is sacred is our movies, and we may have included like animated cartoons and superhero movies? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So this was made for us and for anyone who's listening.
Mm-hmm.
I love the setup and payoff with the beginning and ending of this episode, with our oncologist at the beginning and the studio exec at the end that Seth is sleeping with at his house. And the fact that they're watching MK Ultra 4, so the fourth in the series, and he's trying to explain it, and just the difference of like the oncologist being like, "Oh, no, I've never heard of it. I guess I missed some of those. I've been busy." And the exec being like, "Oh yeah, this was a good one. Like, well done. Okay, cool." Total business, and then also it's like, "I'm leaving. Bye." It's just the difference of like love and appreciation for some art that you've contributed to, but not you. And on the flip side with the oncologist, but how it all breaks down during the episode. And I just love that this climax of this episode is that Matt Remick is really proud of this zombie movie with exploding shit. And he just can't stand that no one else is as hyped and they don't see the value in his shit movie. And I think it's fun. I think it's fun that people are making fun of his poop movie. And at the same time, I see what he's saying, and I'm like, I kind of agree with him. I also agree with the oncologist. I know. But yeah.
That's funny. This is also an episode where basically rich people get to swing their rich dicks around.
Yeah.
And like, it's like some kind of like a charity auction. So they're like bidding on things. And I think Seth Rogen's comedy does really good is when you get people being really petty and taking it to the 9th degree, right? Like your pettiness just drives you forward. And so the whole thing was there's some adventure thing that they're all bidding on that his date's friends are bidding on, and they're excited to get it.
Golfing in Ireland. Yep.
Golfing in Ireland. And as a final like F you to them, he just outbids them. And he's like, no, it's mine. I'm going to get it just for the sake of like, I'm going to prove you wrong by outbidding you and being a petty dick about it. And then I'm going to donate it to you so that you can go on it anyways. But then you're going to know that I'm the one who gave it to you.
He's our tragic protagonist. He's so childish, and yet we have to love him at the same time.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen does a great job with these characters of like, he's wrong, but he's so funny about it. You're kind of like, yeah, you're an asshole, but also you're our asshole. It's this big battle, and he loves to set it up this way of the arts versus the sciences. The old famed battle, whether you're talking about college career, college path and majors, or people outside of it and what's more important or whatever. And he makes that statement where he's like, look, what does every room at a hospital have in it? A screen. And he's right.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's funny to have the argument be like, look, you're helping to cure the cancer and we're entertaining them every minute of the day and step of the day. That's how they're getting through what they're getting through.
Yeah,
And I think it's a fun argument to have in this show, right? Of
it
this is
is.
Seth Rogen, pothead, who's just loving to make movies, some of the dumbest ones of all time. And he's having an argument saying, I'm as important as the doctors curing cancer. Okay, it's a fun way to have that argument where it could have been more serious, and it's not. It's him falling over, busting his
Yeah, I think he
ass,
falls on another table, right?
which we love. Yeah,
We love Seth Rogen
we'll
falling on a table.
we'll have a supercut when it's all done of every time he falls on the table because it's just so good.
Yeah, it's really good. Of course, I mean, this does the comedy thing of it. It basically it forces a conceit far beyond what it should be in the real world because
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't actually matter.
No.
It doesn't really matter. Like people can cure cancer and people can make movies, and the world is big enough to hold those things together.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this story, for the sake of this movie, and for the sake of the very small egos involved, or the very big egos involved,
Hmm.
this thing is of utmost importance.
Yeah, I wrote down one of his quotes. Why can't medicine and art be equally as important? Well, okay. Why can't they? I don't know. And his other quote is, you guys save lives, we make it worth living. It's great. And the fact that he needs medical attention because of his drunken, angry falling over
He
is
like
just the
dislocates his
perfect.
finger or something.
Yeah. It's the just desserts that we wanted. This has very little of everybody else. He keeps making calls to the teams. We have voiceover from Catherine
Yeah,
Hahn and the marketing team of like, hey, we sent you another trailer. Oh, we did this, we did that. But he's really the star of the show. He and the oncologist, actress whose name I've forgotten. It's not on IMDb yet. A quicker episode, right? It felt
yeah.
shorter to you.
It was kind of like a bottle episode. Like it didn't really do much to. I mean, not that the series has like an overarching plot,
Yeah.
but like this one, some of these episodes are very standalone. Like you don't necessarily need to see any of them to watch one of them,
Yeah.
and this is one of those.
Yeah. One more funny, stupid thing he says when he's pointing to the water fountain and he's like, look, there's a placard for every movie that's been shot here. They don't memorialize charity benefit nights or doctors, they memorialize the movies. And it's like, you're right, but also there's some element of hubris and ego that the movies that are
Yeah,
shot there, or they'd want to memorialize it themselves, like,
yeah.
anyways.
Like the plaque was paid for by the studio.
It's funny being in LA and living here for 7, 8 years that like the allure of Tinseltown doesn't fully go away, but at a certain point it becomes more cheeky and funny. I was in
Mhm.
Chinatown at this restaurant, fantastic, it's really good. And they're like memorialized by plaques and pictures all over. Rush Hour was shot here, part of it. And you go watch the movie and you're like, it's a 5 minute conversation over food. You see the blurred background of the restaurant. That's
Yeah,
about it. And they've taken pictures everywhere and put them. And I think it's a little silly, but it's also fun. Like you have to be proud of
yeah,
what it is. Now, that
yeah.
said, having gone to Naples, Italy, to a famous pizza place there, where Julia Roberts sits down and has pizza and Eat, Pray, Love, they've memorialized it with a terribly printed picture in a little plastic sleeve you have for a binder in school. And they're also proud, but it's in the corner of the restaurant. It's not front and center.
Yeah.
This is a short one this week.
Yeah, it was funny. It was good.
I love the oncologist early on. It's like, it's very refreshing to be with someone so creative. And you feel a little pedestalizing there, where you can
Yeah.
just tell she's like, it's fun to be with someone who doesn't know medical terminology or science or how a body works.
Yeah.
Is it really fun or is it just
Yeah.
funny? Are you going to go date someone who's really smart? You already have.
I hope so. I already
Yeah.
have. I have a thing. I should say, well, I have a thing for women who are very intelligent.
Yeah.
I also know that women who are very intelligent really like me because I'm pretty non-threatened by the fact that they have more degrees than I do, and that they
That
make more
helps.
money than me. And I tend to attract a lot of that kind of woman in my life. Not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie. You'd have no problem with the oncologist.
No problem at all. We'd certainly fight
No.
about movies a little bit, but like whatever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
She's paying for dinner.
Folks, if you're listening here, you can email us, the indie magazine and podcast at gmail.com. Hit up Madison. You know what?
Let's just call it how it is. I'm ready to be someone's little baby.
Well, all right. Utah-based sugar mamas, email in, hit us up on Instagram, and until next week, continue to watch good movies and TV and watch more of the studio.